Okay, start na tayo.
Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4, led by Jody and Gabanto, together with our members Zildjian de la Cruz, Alexis Cartorejos, Eliza May Alvarez, June Valdez, Ita Matutina, and me, Jennifer De Una. We have present to you a short story called All Over the World, written by Mr. Vicente Rivera Jr.
One evening in August 1941, I came out of a late movie to a silent cold night. I shivered a little as I stood for a moment in the narrow street, looking up to the distant sky, alive with stars. I stood there, letting the night wind seep through me, and listening. The street was empty, the houses on the street dim, with the kind of ghostly dimness that seems to embrace sleeping houses. I had always liked empty streets in the night. I had always stopped for a while in these streets listening for something I did not quite know what. Perhaps for low, soft cries that empty streets and sleeping houses seem to share in the night. I lived in an old, nearly crumbling apartment house just across the street from the movie house. From the street, I could see into the open courtyard, around which rooms were the tenants. Mostly a whole family to a single room were arranged. My room, like all the other rooms on the ground floor, opened on this court. Three other boys, my cousins, shared a room with me. As I turned into the courtyard from the street, I noticed that the light over our study table, which stood on the corridor outside our room, was still burning. Early in the evening, after supper, I had taken out my books to study. But I went out in the movie instead. I must have forgotten to turn off the light. Apparently, the boys had forgotten too. I went around the low screen that partitioned off our study, and there was a girl reading at a table. We looked at each other, startled. I had never seen her before. She was about 11 years old, and she wore a faded blue dress. She had the long, straight hair fallen to her shoulders. She was reading my copy of Greek myths. The eyes she had turned into a mere white, darkened a little by apprehension. For a long time, neither of us said anything. She was a delicately pretty girl with a fine, smooth, pale olive skin that shone richly in the yellow light. Her nose was straight, small, and finely molded. Her lips, full and red, were fixed and tense. And there was something else about her, something lonely, something lost.
I know. I like stories too. I read anything good I find lying around. Have you been reading now?
Yes,
She said, not looking at me now. She got up slowly, closing the book.
I'm sorry.
Don't you want to read anymore?
I asked her, trying to smile, trying to make her feel that everything was all right.
No, thank you.
Oh yes. It's late. You ought to be in bed, but you can take this alone.
She hesitated, hanging back. Then shyly, she took the book, brought it to her side. She looked down on her feet, uncertain as where to turn.
You live here?
Yes,
In what room?
She turned her face and nodded towards the far corner, across the courtyard, to a little room near the communal kitchen. It was the room occupied by the janitor, a small square room with no windows, except for a transom above the door.
You live with Mang Lucio. How long have you been here? I haven't seen you before, have I?
I've always been here. I've seen you.
Oh well. Good night. What's your name?
Maria.
Good night, Maria.
She turned quickly, ran across the courtyard, straight to her room, and closed the door without looking back. I undressed, turned off the light, and lay in bed dreaming of faraway things. I was 21 and had a job for the first time. The salary was not much, and I lived in a house that was slowly coming apart. But life seemed good, and in the evening, when the noise of living had died down and you lay safe in bed, you can dream of better times, look back and ahead, and find that life could be gentle, even with the hardness. And afterwards, when the night had grown colder, and suddenly you felt alone in the world, adrift caught in a current of mystery that came in the hour between sleep and waking. The vaguely frightening loneliness only brought you closer to everything, to the walls and the shadows on the walls, to the other sleeping people in the room, to everything within beyond this house, the street, the city, everywhere.
I met Maria again one early evening, a week later, as I was coming home from the office. I saw her walking ahead of me, slowly, as if she could not be too careful, and with a kind of a grown-up poise that was somehow touching. But I did not know that it was Maria until she stopped and I overtook her. She was wearing a white dress that had been old many months ago. She wore a pair of brown sneakers that had been white once. She had stopped to look at the posters of pictures advertised as coming to our neighborhood theater.
Hello.
She smiled at me and looked away quickly. She did not say anything, nor did she step away. I felt her shyness, but there was no self-consciousness, none of the tenseness and restraint of the night we first met. I stood beside her. I looked at the pictures, tacked on a tilted board, and tried whistling a tune. She turned to go, hesitated, and looked at me full in the eyes. There was again that wide-eyed and sad stare. I smiled. Galiana Street in Intramuros hesitated and looked at me full in the eyes. There was again that wide-eyed and sad stare. I smiled, feeling a remote desire to comfort her, as if it won't do any good, as if it was comfort she needed.
I'll return your book now.
Finish it.
Yes.
We walked down the shadowed street. Magallana Street in Intramuros, like all the other streets up there, was not wide enough, hemmed in by old, mostly unpainted houses, clumsy and unlovely, even in the darkening light of the fading day. We went into the apartment house, and I followed her across the court. I stood outside the door, which she closed carefully after her. She came out almost immediately and put in my hands the book of Greek myths. She did not look at me as she stood straight and remote.
My name is Felix.
She smiled suddenly. It was a little smile, almost an unfinished smile, but somehow it felt special, something given from way deep inside in sincere friendship. I walked away whistling, the door of my room. I stopped and looked back. Maria was not in sight. Her door was firmly closed. August 1941 was a warm month. The hangover of summer still permeated the air, especially in Intramuros. But unlike some of the days in late summer, there were afternoons when the weather was soft and clear, the sky a watery green, with a shell-like quality to it that almost made you see through and beyond, so that watching it made you lightheaded. I walked out of the office one day into such an afternoon. The day had been full of writing work, like all the other days in the past. I was tired. I walked slowly towards the far side of the old city, where traffic was not heavy. On the street, there were old trees, as old as the walls that enclosed the city, halfway towards the school. I changed my mind and head for the gate that led out to Bonifacio Drive. I needed stiffer winds, wider skies. I needed all my attention to myself. Maria was sitting on the first bench as she went up the sloping drive that curved away from the western gate. She saw me before I saw her. When I looked her away, she was already smiling that half smile of hers, which even so told you all the truth she knew without your asking.
Hello, it's a small world.
What?
I said it's nice running into you. Do you always come here?
As often as I can. I go to many places.
Doesn't your uncle disapprove?
No, he's never around. Besides, he doesn't mind anything.
Where do you go?
Oh, up on the walls, in the gardens up there, near Victoria Gate, do you know?
I think so. What do you do up there?
Sit down and
And what?
nothing. Just sit down. Is that you, Felix?
Yes, Maria.
She was standing beside my chair, close to the wall. Her voice was small and disembodied in the darkness. A chill went through me. She said nothing more for more than a long time. I don't like the darkness.
Oh, come on now. When you sleep, you turn the lights off, don't you?
It's not like this, Agnes. It's all over the world.
We did not speak again until the lights turned on. Then she was gone. The war happened not long after. At first, everything was so unreal. It was like living on a motion picture screen, with yourself as actor and conscience. But the sounds of the exploding bombs were real enough, thudding luridly against the unready air. In Intramuros, the people left their homes the first night of the war. Many of them sleep at the niches of the old homes and walls. The first time they heard the sinus scream in earnest. That evening, I returned home to find the apartment house empty. The janitor was there. My cousin who worked for the army was there, but the rest of the tenants were gone. I asked Mang Lucio. Maria, she's gone with her aunt to the walls. They will sleep there tonight.
My cousin told me that by the morning we would transfer to sing along. There was a house available. The only reason why he was staying, he said, was because they were unable to move our things. Tomorrow that would be taken care of immediately.
And you, Mang Lucio, I don't know where I could go. We ate canned pork and beans and bread. We slept on the floor with the lights rocking back on. The house creaked in the night and sent off hollow echoes. We slept uneasily. I woke up early. It was disquieting to wake up to stillness in that house, which rounds with children's voices and laughter with the whole day every day. In the kitchen, there were sounds and smells of cooking. Hello.
It was Maria, frying rice. She turned back from the stove and looked at me for a long time. Then, without a word, she turned back and continued cooking.
Are you and your uncle going away?
I don't know.
Did he not tell you?
No.
We're moving to sing alone.
Yes, I know.
Well, anyway, I'll come back tonight. Maybe this afternoon. We'll not have time to say goodbye till then. She did not say anything. I finished washing and went back to my room. I dressed and went out. At noon, I went to sing along to eat. All our things were there already, and the folks were busy putting the house in order. As soon as I finished lunch, I went back to the office. There were few vehicles about. Air raids alerts are frequent. The brightness of the day seemed flaring. The faces of the people were all pale and drawn. In the evening, I went back down the familiar street. I was stopped many times by air raid volunteers. The house was dark. I walked back to the street. I stood for a long time before the house. Something did not want me to go away just yet. A light burst in my face. It was a volunteer.
Do you live here?
I used to, up to yesterday. I'm looking for the janitor.
Why? Did you leave something behind?
Yes, I did. But I think I lost it now.
Well, we better get along, son. This place, the whole area, has been ordered evacuated. Nobody lives here anymore.
Yes, I know. Nobody.
And that is the short story titled All Over the World. We would like to thank Mr. Vicente Rivera Jr. for creating such a masterpiece. And of course, to our audiences, thank you for watching and listening. Hope you learned something out of the story. Did you like the presentation? Give it a heart.
Okay. Wait. So let's start our grading. No. Somewhere. Nasaan na? Okay. Rinig ba ako, guys? Guys.
Oo.
Ano ba ito? Yun. Ay. Okay lang. Okay. So, kamusta yung video, guys? Oh, nahulog. Magsimula tayo kay Raymart.
Ba't ako?
Ikaw yung nasa unang listahan ko eh. Sige na, go. Kamusta yung, ano nila? Oops. Kamusta yung, ano dyan? Animation, ano nila? Yung gawa nila. Para sa, anong dapat i-improve? Anong suggestion mo kung meron man? Anong masasabi mo dun sa video?
Yung sa animation nila, well executed naman, pero yung transition, yung bawat transition niya sa different scenes, hindi ganun ka precise, pulido. Kaya mas mag-focus sa transitioning dun.
Okay. Yun lang?
Yup.
Ano ba yan? Sorry. Okay. Si Daya.
Oh.
Ikaw.
Oo na.
Ano masabi mo sa video?
Ayos lang, maganda. Maganda pagkakagawa ng presentation nila.
Yun lang.
Oh, yun lang.
Okay. Grabe gandang ambag yun.
Diba?
Okay naman. Totoo naman, maganda naman talaga siya. Lalo na kung ang ano ko lang kasi, syempre, di ba, animation. Siguro wala rin naman sa kanila marunong kasi ewan ko, prefer ko talaga yung gumagalaw na anime. Pero maganda rin siya kasi yung bawat yung bawat character niya, akala mo talaga pumupunta siya dun sa isang lugar, ganun. Ay, namatay. Oh, yun. Tapos na ako. Paano ito? Fate. Si Fate muna. Fate.
Maganda yung video.
Okay. Yun lang. Yun lang. Ano masasabi mo pa sa video nila?
Maganda.
Okay.
Maayos. Malinis.
Okay. Bakit hindi na nag-scan record to? Okay, ikaw na. Ay. Sige, may i-share ka pa?
Wala naman.
Si Rich.
Okay naman sa akin yung video. Maganda naman siya. Tapos, maayos. Organized din lang.
Okay. Dahil tapos na tayo, let's start to grading system. Wait lang. Okay. So, let's start to... Ano ba yan? Best namatay na cellphone ko. Sorry, guys. Ano ba yan? Uulit na naman. Ay, nako. Malis mamamatay. Kasi ano? Save ko na nga lang ano. Picture. Hirap naman. Ito. Ah! Umayos ka. Nagigigil. Hello po sa mga kapanood po nito. Umiinit po ang ulo ko. Saan na ba yun? Save. Para sa ano na lang. Gigil ako eh. Yun. Okay. Let's start the content. Ano yan? Okay. Raymart. Ano sa tingin mo ang points? Ano ba yung ano nila? Accurate ba? Compiled ba siya na from relevant sources o ano?
Points sa content,
Oo.
8.
8. So bakit mo sinabing 8? Kailangan explanation.
Kasi 'di ba, given na yung binigay sa kanilang short stories. So ang ginawa nila mas pinaganda nila through animation, which is good kasi some of the generation ngayon is mas preferred yung animation. Kaya mas fitted siya.
Okay. So content. So may 8 na. Oh, yung si Princess, kung ikaw nang boboto, anong sa tingin mo points for content? Princess? Are you still there? Okay, balikan na lang natin si Princess. Si Daya.
Ano?
Ikaw, ano sa tingin mo yung points for content nila? Si Raymart daw sabi niya 8.
Ano saan sa content?
Oo.
Ano?
Ako, for me, sige.
Sige,
Ako,
muna.
ako kasi for me talaga, 8 din yung ano, tulad ni Raymark. Maganda rin kasi yung content nila kasi yung naibigay na rin sa kanila so parang napaganda na lang din. So, for me, 8 points lang din yung sa akin. Sa'yo, para sa si Daya.
Ano yun? Sabi mo nga, di ba? Maganda yung content nila. Yes.
So, 8 na yun. Grabe, di ba?
Pwede yun. Ganon din naman.
Ganon din naman. Ganon
Oo.
din ba ang say ni ang pangalan nito, ni Rich?
Ganun din, syempre.
Okay.
I don't have not ability.
Si Princess ba nandiyan ba? Pero majority naman tayo so 8 sa content. So meron na kayong 8. Woo! Okay. Lipat tayo sa image and video. Images and video. For me, yung videos and yung video nila maganda. Kasi lalo na yung Ah, yung relate talaga siya sa topic. Sabi nga diyan, 'di ba, excellent use for image or that relates to the topic. Siyempre, kapag ano ka naman, gagawa ka ng background, tapos kung magna-narrate ka, siyempre kailangan relate dun sa sinasabi kapag sinabing sa kalye, siyempre dapat ang background kalye. So, yun, nakuha naman nila yun. So, for me, bibigay ko sa kanila is 8. Okay. Ikaw ba, Rich? Do you agree? Or you're not agree? Sa images and video?
Ano ulit score mo?
8.
Sa akin para sa akin 6 kasi medyo nakulangan ako sa
O bakit ka nakulangan? O sa tingin mo, bakit sa tingin mo kulang?
parang nakulangan ako sa information of the image, parang sa editing nila ganun.
Okay.
Para sa akin.
Images and video pa lang yan, nawala pa sa editing clips, ha? Sige. May sumagot ng ako sa 8, so 6. So may dalawa. So titingnan natin kung ano ba to. Si Daya.
Oh.
Sa tingin mo ba yung image and video nila? Ano sa tingin mo? Points na ibibigay mo sa kanila? Maayos ba?
6. Maayos. 6.
Go to 6 ka din. Okay. May dalawa na tayong 6. Okay, Raymark. Some image and videos.
6-10.
Okay, 6. So, Princess, are you there ba? So majority rin naman kasi. So, 6. Kahit wala ta sa Princess. Okay. Pakichat niya si Princess. Raymark. Si Raymark na lang. Pakichat si Princess. Sabihin mo need siya dito. Mamaya kasi may magtay. Kailangan siya. Okay. Punta tayo sa editing clips. Rich. Kamusta ang editing clips nila for you?
Teka lang, di ko pa i-recall ko.
Wala pa? Okay, sige. Si Daya muna. Si Daya, kamusta ang editing clips?
Yung editing nila sa akin, 8 kasi hindi ko naman pwede usgan yung edit nila, hindi naman kasi marunong mag-edit eh.
Okay, nag-base ka talaga sa Okay, sige. So, may isa na tayong 8 for editing clips. Balik tayo kay Rich. Kamusta ba? Maayos ba yung
Siguro
training nila?
Kasi,
Sorry.
sabi ko, parang maganda naman pa. Pleasing sa mata. Ganun.
So, anong score ang bibigay mo?
8.
6?
8.
8. Okay, dalawang 8. Next, Raymark.
8.
Okay, 18 siya. Mag-agree. Si Princess, wala pa? Chinat mo na?
Oo.
Okay. Ako din, same lang yung sa inyo, yung sa editing clips niya. Kasi maayos naman talaga. Wala rin problema masyado. So, bibigyan ko rin siya ng 8. So, majority is 8. Pakitawagan si Princess kasi in case na magkaroon ng tie, tatawagan siya. Basic din kasi siya eh. Inutusan nata siya ng mami niya. So, next na tayo. Sequencing. So, sa sequencing naman, para sa akin, maganda naman yung transition niya. Even may kulang siya, namatay na naman. Even may kulang, sabihin na natin may kulang yung transition, pero maganda yung pagkaka-deliver niya, lalo na kung exact siya doon sa doon sa nagsasalita. So for me, 8 yung ibibigay ko sa kanya. Para sa iyo, Raymark, ano sa tingin mo?
Ulit, ano may?
Sa sequencing, sa transitions.
6.
Why? Why 6?
Kasi ayun nga, although maganda yung mga sinasabi nilang ang script, yung sa transitioning, nagpa-factor pa rin yung sa may animation. Tapos yung sa may sa audio pa.
Okay. Mamaya na tayo sa audio. Wala pa tayo sa audio eh. Okay. Meron na tayong 6 si Raymark at ako yung 8. So, si Daya.
Yun, 6.
6 kasi
Sa ano, di ba?
Daya.
Saan ba yun?
Sa sequence, mga transitions.
Ako 6 lang sa akin kasi yung iba hindi maganda yung pagkakaano.
Okay.
Basta yun.
Next. Okay. Next, Rich.
6 lang din kasi may pagkukulang sila. Kaya maganda.
Sana may pagkukulang. Dapat ba mapuna ng mga pagkukulang?
Siyempre na.
Okay. Okay. So majority is 6. Kahit bumoto naman din si Princess ng 8. Okay, majority pa rin ng 6. So agree din naman ako. Tulad nga na sinabi ko kanina din, kahit binigyan ko lang sila ng 8 kasi nga, maayos din naman. Siguro hindi lang maano sa transition. Kaya ko ginawang 8. So, kung 6, adi go tayo sa 6. Okay, 6. Wala talaga si Princess Pag dito nag-tie, kailangan talaga yon. Okay. Titles, credits, and word placement. Ha?
Ito.
Okay. Ang sabi dito, ang title, credits, and word placement, there is no spelling grammar errors, titles, credits, and meaning to images. So, Rich, sa'yo, kamusta yung nila? Kamusta dyan? Meron bang, no spelling grammar errors, credits, and meaning to images, what?
Parang hindi ko naman napansin. Kaya siguro 8.
Okay, 8. Ako naman, ayun si Princess. Okay, kunin na natin yung kay Princess. Princess!
8 na lang din ako, kuya.
Okay, 8. So, ako naman. Sa akin, I go for 6. Kasi, hindi dahil may napansin ako maling grammar. Kasi, feeling ko wala rin maling grammar. Pero, pagdating sa, dun sa, credits and meaning to images, kasi may mga image doon na sorry, talagang hindi exact. Lalo na yung, naalala niyo yung, dinidefine niya yung babae din, yung naglalakad siya, di ba? Yung naglalakad siya, tapos dinefine yung suot niya, sabi naka-white daw siya, pero din sa nilagay nilang insert, di naman siya naka-white. So, yun yung napansin ko, kaya, nag-6 ako. So, yun. May 1, 6, may 2, 8. So, Raymark, ikaw, sa tingin mo?
8.
8 din. Si Daya?
Saan yan sa ano?
Sa titles, credits, and word placement.
8.
8. Okay, majority is 8. So, ako rin talaga nakapansin ng Pero, I'll go. 8. Next. Video effects. Ayan. Unahin na kita, Princess, kasi kanina ka pa wala. Princess, kamusta yung mga video effect nila? Ano ba to? Special effects, add meaning to the images. Yung mga effects. Kamusta?
Picture.
Dapat
Yung picture.
dapat ano bang points ang ibibigay mo? Ano ba siya? 6 or 8? 2 or ano ba mga dito? 8, 6, 4, 8. Ay, 4 or 2. Sa video effects. Kamusta yung video effects
Okay
niya?
naman.
Anong score ang ibibigay mo sa video effects?
Yung mga classmate ko. Pero okay naman. 8.
Okay. 8? Okay, 8 daw siya. Go for 8. Next, si Daya. Wala na naman ang aking presentation.
6.
6. So, meron na tayong 6, meron na tayong 8. Ikaw, Rich.
6 din kasi Kasi hindi siya, basta ganun ka detalyado, walang ganda, pero parang may kulang. Yun lang.
Ano sa tingin yung pagkukulang, Rich? Sa tingin mo?
Mga effect.
Kung paano mo nasabi yun? Ano pagkukulang sa tingin mo na need nila i-improve din doon sakali?
Yung editing nila, ganun. Siguro.
So, 6. Si Daya, Shakas, ikaw nagsabi na 6, tapos may 8 si Princess. Okay, si Raymark.
Oh.
Kamusta ano yan? Visual effects. Nila.
8.
8 din. So, we have a tiebreaker. So, ako ang magde-decide. So, Princess and Raymark have 8. Said that, ano ba yan? Sorry guys. Ang kulit ng cellphone ko. Okay. Princess and Raymark said that they go for 8. And then si Daya and Rich go for 6 dahil nga daw parang may pagkukulang din ulit. So ako magde-decide ngayon. So for me, yung visual effects naman nila, for me, tama naman din sila, Rich na na parang may din, may pagkukulang din. Pero kasi animation sila, then hindi naman sila yung hindi naman siya yung talagang tulad ng mga Naruto na gumagalaw yung animation. So yung effects din naman nila parang sa akma lang din naman dun sa video na ginawa nila. So I go for 8 kasi hindi naman din ganun kaganda yung I mean, hindi bagay lang sa kanya yung effects na yun kasi yung presentation nila is ganun lang naman. Hindi naman tulad ng mga animation na gumagalaw talaga yung di ba? So, nanalo sila for 8. Okay. Bago tayo mag-proceed sa audio, pili ko naman wala tayong aabot sa 4. Kaya kung sino yung makakapanood nito, but hindi kami kasi meron pa grading dito na 4, 2. So, ba't hindi umaabot dun sa 4 and 2? Kasi nga, hindi naman ganun masyado yung nila. Hindi naman ganun kasi maayos at maganda rin yung nila, yung presentation nila, yung ginawa nila. So wala talaga umabot sa 4 and 2. Kaya ang pinagpipilian lang namin dito is 8 and 6. So next, audio, music, sound. Audio. Ako, mauna na ako sa audio. Yung audio para sa akin, bibigyan ko siya ng Ayun. Is audio, for me sa akin, maayos yung audio. Lalo na, depende rin sa nagsasalita. Tapos yung, hindi rin naman kasi maiwasan yung maingay yung background. Tapos minsan may talaga. Ang problema lang doon is may time na mahina yung iba, mahina yung boses. Yung iba parang nagdo-double yung boses, yung parang nag-grounded. So, 6 lang yung ibibigay ko sa kanila dito kasi nga yun nga yung sa nila. So 6 lang. Okay, si Daya. Ikaw, sa tingin mo sa audio. Kamusta ang audio?
6 lang sa akin kasi medyo mahina yung ibang nagsasalita sa kanila. Hindi ko mag-ano pa rin.
Okay. Next, Rich.
Para sa akin, 6 kasi yung iba yung mga character nila pare-pareha lang. Pero iba yung nagbo-voice effect. Napansin ko lang. Tapos mahina din yung mahina din yung audio nila. Parang sa akin, gano'n. Tapos, wala silang masyadong ginamit na sound and music. Gano'n. Yun lang. Thank you.
Oo nga, tama rin. Parang may dati nang masyado yung sound background nilang sound. Parang isa lang yung ginagamit nila. Yun lang yung nakalimutan ko na. Oo nga, pili ko na wala rin ako narinig masyado. Princess! Pero majority 6 Princess, sa'yo, sa tingin mo? Sa tingin mo, kamusta yung audio nila?
Yan?
Kamusta yung audio, yung music, yung sound, yung video?
Okay naman.
Okay naman. O kung anong points yung ibibigay mo in case?
Yung mga classmates kong points. 8.
8. 8. So, yun. May pumili ng 8. Raymark. Thank you, Princess. Raymark.
6.
6 din. So, yun. Majority naman 6. Pero syempre, tinatanong ko rin kayo para malaman na manonood na may nagandahan din dun sa audio. So, yung, syempre, iba tayo ng understanding. Okay. So, majority 6. Okay. Next, creativity. Rich, kamusta ang creativity nila?
Para
video.
sa akin, ano ba? Siguro 6.
Bakit?
Kasi, ewan ko eh.
Hoy! Ano ewan ko? Sabi may dahilan ka, baka mabibigyan sila ng 6.
Kasi parang hindi ganun ka, Hindi ganun ka-creative. Ganun.
So, kaya mo siya nabibigyan ng 6, okay? Raymark.
8.
Oh, bakit naman mabibigyan siya ng 8?
Kasi as student, they do naman this activity well kasi di naman sila ganun capable as editor ng buong good job kasi nagawa nila ng magandang paraan.
Okay. Meron na tayo isang 8, meron na rin 6. Princess. Kamusta ang creativity ng video nila, Princess?
Maganda.
Siyempre, maganda. Oh, okay. Paano mo nasabing maganda ang kanilang video, yung creativity nila?
Malinis ang pagkagawa. Hindi magulo sa mata.
So, kung sa'yo, anong score ang ibibigay mo sa kanila?
8.
8. Okay. Dalawa na ang 8 po natin. Si Daya. Ano, makaka-time breaker dito.
Yun, 8. Katulad na sinabi ni Raymark.
8. Okay. Tulad din sinabi ni Raymark.
Oo.
Agree ako dun sa sinabi din ni Raymark. So, parehas lang tayo. So, majority is 8 yung nakuha. Kasi tama naman sila. Hindi naman ganoon. May mga estudyante na hindi magaling sa editing. Parang tayo. Diba? Hindi naman magaling sa editing noon. Na nagloko pa nga editor natin noon nung nag-edit ako noon. So, 8 yung ibibigay ko. Kasi nga, syempre, maayos naman yung pagkakano nila. Okay, 8. Okay, last. References, citations. Oo. All results are used correctly and properly cited in MLA format. MLA format? References. Pinamitan na references. Okay. Si Daya, ikaw ang una. Kamusta ang kanilang dito sa references citations?
Ako na.
Ikaw na.
Six lang ako, 6.
6. Okay, 6. May isa ng 6. Raymark. For you.
8.
8. Bakit 8?
Kasi they emphasize mismo yung short story and at the end they also credited the short story, which is good para hindi lumabas na plagiarize yung short story.
Okay. Very well said. Rich.
8.
Oh. Princess.
Kasi.
Sige. Rich, bakit? Sige,
Sabihin ko lang talaga kasi.
Ay, sige. Princess. Ikaw. Anong score ang ibibigay?
8.
8 din?
8 din.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Next, may sabi ka pa ba? May sabi ka pa ba, Princess?
Wala na.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yung akin naman, magsisiksana ako. Ano lang, yung resources nila. Pero hindi ko rin kasi alam kung ano yung nila. Kapag nag-isipan ko pa kung 8 or 6. Hindi ko rin kasi alam kung paano nila ginawa yung references kasi syempre hindi natin alam kung paano yung ginawa nila. So, nahahati ako sa dalawa 8 or 6. Pero majority naman is na 8. 'Di ba tama? 8. Okay. So, let's go for 8. So, yan. Tapos tayo. Let's, count on it. Ilan ang total score? So, sa content, nakakuha sila ng 8. Images and video, 6. Editing clips, 8. Sequencing, 6. Titles, credit, etc. 8. Video effects, 8. Audio, 6. Creativity, 8. References, 8. So, meron silang 66 points. Okay. Ko lang ulit 8, 6, 8. Ano to? 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, 6, 8. 6, 8, 8, 6, 8, 8. So, total score is 66. Okay. Try natin equivalent na. 66 divided by 72 times 100. So, meron silang 91.6. Okay, 91.6. So, yun ang total score nila. So, yun. Ayun. So, dito nagtatapos ang ating peer evaluation. So, ano pa ba? Agree ba sa lahat ng napag-anuhan natin? Mamaya may iba may sama ng loob. Mamaya may iba may sama ng loob dahil hindi baka sa tingin nila na hindi tama yung natin, yung hindi tawag ito. Sorry, nagugulan ako. Baka meron sa inyo na nagugulan bakit ganun yung scoring natin? Baka may masama ng loob. Meron ba? May violent reaction ba tayo? Wala naman.
So far, wala.
Wala naman. Rich, meron ba?
Siguro wala. Siguro meron.
Paano siguro wala? Parang siguro meron.
Joke lang,
Hindi.
wala.
Siyempre, dalawa yon. Parang meron siya kasi siguro wala. Naku, mapapanood din, naka-record to.
Joke lang. Hindi mo
joke.
proof kayo.
Okay. Stanley, ikaw. Dahil nakikita ko yung screen, nakasama ka dyan, Stanley. Wala naman po. Okay, very good. Parang lang tanga. Okay, si Daya, ikaw. May violent reaction ka ba sa ating mga napagbotohan? 66 ang nakuha nila. So, may violent reaction ka ba? Deserve ba nila? Wala naman. Wala naman. For me, wala naman. Deserve din naman nila yung 66% na yun. 66 na points. Okay, ikaw, Princess.
Wala naman din.
So yun. Wala din naman daw. Okay, thank you for your participation for this peer evaluation. So, ito na siguro yung last natin. Or baka tayo pa rin i-group ni ma'am. So, sana kayo ulit yung mga kagrupo ko. Or baka ayaw nyo na sa akin, okay lang naman. So, yun. Ayaw nyo na sa akin, masungit na ako masyado.
Hindi, may sama ka ng loob sa amin. Sabihin mo na.
Hoy, wala ako sama ng loob.
Walay na rin.
Okay. Teka, papatayin ko muna yung record bago natin pag-usapan kung ano yung sama ng loob ko sa'yo. Charot. Sige na. Tapusin na muna natin. I-stop ko muna yung recording natin. Okay. Ano ba yung stop yung recording? Paano yung stop yung recording dito? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. Patayin na po namin yung record. Yung record po papatayin namin. Paano ba ito isa-save sa stop record? Share will be saved instantly Google Drive.